The sky above Valtor 9 burned crimson as plasma fire streaked across the horizon. Lieutenant Kara Wynne pressed her back against the crumbling wall of the forward bunker. Her armor scorched and cracked from the relentless bombardment. The Zharkov Collective had broken through the eastern perimeter, and evacuation protocols had been issued 3 minutes ago. She should have been gone by now. Lieutenant. Her comm crackled with static and urgency. All personnel, immediate withdrawal to the transport zone.
This position is lost.
Kara glanced down at the 4 sets of amber eyes staring up at her from the corner of the bunker. The Vrexian cubs, no older than human toddlers despite their razor-sharp claws and crystalline fangs, huddled together in terrified silence. Their fur, normally a proud silver blue, was matted with dust and blood. The eldest, Tyrek, stood protectively in front of his siblings, his small frame trembling but defiant. Their mother, Commander Shara, had fallen holding the line 2 hours ago. Her final transmission had been simple: "Protect my children." "I'm not leaving them," Kara muttered, switching off her comm. The Vrexians were apex predators on their homeworld, engineered by evolution to hunt in packs and tear through armored prey. The galaxy had learned to fear them in combat. But these weren't warriors. These were terrified children who had watched their mother die defending a world that wasn't even theirs. The bunker shuddered as another artillery shell struck nearby. Chunks of concrete rained down, and Kara threw herself over the cubs, her body forming a shield as debris pelted her damaged armor. She felt something crack in her ribs, but she didn't move until the dust settled. When she looked up, Tyrek was staring at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. In his species, such vulnerability was weakness. Yet here was this human, this soft-skinned creature that by all rights should have fled, covering them with her own fragile body. "Why?" Tyrek's voice was barely a whisper, the translator in his collar struggling with the young dialect. "Why stay? You die with us." Kara managed a pained smile, tasting copper in her mouth. "Because that's what we do, kid. We don't leave family behind. We are not your pack. You are now." Another explosion rocked the structure. The roof groaned ominously, and Kara knew they had minutes at best. She activated her emergency beacon, a last resort that would paint a target on their position but might, just might, get someone's attention. Then she checked her rifle. 2 magazines left. 37 rounds between her and whatever came through that door. The Zharkov came in a wave of chittering mandibles and segmented armor. They poured through the breached wall like insects, their chemical weapons hissing as they advanced. Kara opened fire, her shots precise despite the pain radiating through her chest. 1 down, 3, 5. Her rifle clicked empty and she transitioned to her sidearm without missing a beat. Behind her, the cubs whimpered. Tyrek growled, a sound that would have been intimidating from an adult but was heartbreaking from someone so young. He was trying to be brave, trying to protect his siblings as his mother had taught him. A Zharkov drone lunged at Kara from the side. She pivoted, emptying her pistol into its thorax, but its momentum carried it forward. Its serrated limb slashed across her shoulder, and she felt her armor give way. Blood, her blood, splattered hot across her face. She fell to one knee, vision blurring. The cubs screamed behind her. More Zharkov were coming. Too many. Kara dropped her empty pistol and drew her combat knife. If this was where humanity's line ended, she'd make it cost them dearly. She'd bought the cubs 3 minutes. Maybe 4. She just needed a little more time. The roar that split the air was primal, furious, and unmistakably Vrexian. The wall exploded inward as a full pack of Vrexian warriors crashed through, their power armor gleaming even through the smoke. They moved like liquid death, tearing through the Zharkov with claws that could rend steel. At their head was General Kavrix, Commander Shara's mate, his armor painted with the blood-red honor marks of the bereaved. The battle was over in seconds. The Zharkov that didn't die immediately retreated, their formation shattered by the Vrexian assault. Kavrix bounded to the cubs, checking them with a tenderness that seemed impossible from such a fearsome creature. Then his eyes found Kara, collapsed against the wall, barely conscious. He approached slowly, dropping to one knee before her. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of a debt that could never be repaid. "You stayed." Kara tried to respond, but her words came out as a wet cough. Her vision was fading, darkness creeping in at the edges. She felt small hands pause, touching her face. Tyrek was there, his amber eyes wide. "Don't die, human, please. You said we are pack. Still are," Kara managed. before the darkness took her. 20 cycles later, Lieutenant Kara Wynne stood on the observation deck of the VSS Relentless, watching as the Rexian fleet prepared for the final assault on the Zharkov homeworld. Her shoulders still ached where they'd rebuilt it with synthetic tissue, and her ribs would probably hurt until the day she died, but she was alive. Beside her, no longer a cub but a warrior in his own right, stood Tyrek. He wore the armor of the Vrexian elite, and painted across his chest plate was a symbol that made every human who saw it pause in respect. A red shield with 2 crossed rifles. Kara's insignia from that day on Valter 9. The generals wanted me to take my mother's markings, Tyrek said quietly. I chose yours instead. Kara looked at him, this young warrior who had become something unprecedented in Vrexian culture, a predator who honored prey. Why? Tyrek's mandibles clicked and what she'd learned was a smile. Because you taught me that strength isn't just in claws and teeth. It's in standing when you should run. In protecting those who cannot protect themselves. He paused, then added in perfectly unaccented English, words he'd practiced for months. It's in being human. The fleet jumped to hyperspace, and Kara felt the familiar weight of command settle on her shoulders. The war wasn't over, but today, as she stood beside the warrior she'd saved as a cub, watching a predator species fight alongside humanity with unprecedented unity, she understood something profound. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't its weapons or its tactics. It was its stubborn, foolish, beautiful refusal to abandon those who needed protection, even when those in need had fangs and claws and could one day tear them apart. Especially then, because that's what humans did. They protected the cubs even when the cubs were predators. They stood when they should have run. They made family out of aliens. They turned battlefields red with their own blood, buying time measured in heartbeats. And the galaxy, for better or worse, would never forget it.